So when your A term isn't 1, the number in the front isn't 1, you can't just find factors of this number that add up to this number like we did in the last one. So here's the extra step that you have to do. Step 1 is you see if there's a GCF that you can factor out. That's basically a number that every number is divisible by, okay? So, in this case, Brecken, you're still on your phone. Can we put your phone away? All right, thank you. So, in this particular case, we can't take out a number. They're not all divisible by the same number, so here's what we do. We do something called the AC method, okay? And here's how the AC method works. You're going to multiply whatever that outer number is by whatever this number is here. And you're going to rewrite it as p squared minus 2p minus whatever the product of those two numbers is, which is 15, right? Now at this stage, you're going to factor this like you factored last week when we learned about this, which means that you're looking for two numbers that multiply to give you negative 15, but will add up to negative 2, okay? So what are some numbers that will multiply to give you negative 15? What about just positive 15? Two numbers that multiply to give you positive 15. 3 and 5, right? So what about negative 3 times positive 5? And what about negative 5 times positive 3? Don't those two number sets add up to, or they multiply to give you negative 15, right? Which one of those sets of numbers adds up to, which of those two number sets adds up to negative 2? The bottom or the top one? Good, the bottom one adds up to a negative 2. We want a negative 2, so the bigger number has to be negative. So here you're going to put negative 5 and positive 3 in the parentheses, okay? Now, to counteract the multiplication we did earlier, we need to do division, okay? What operation, remember, multiplication and division reverse each other, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that operation. So we are going to divide by what we multiplied by. Does 3 go into negative 5? Yes or no? No. So when it doesn't divide into it, you're going to bring it back into the front. Okay? Does 3 go into 3? Yes. How many times? 1. When it divides, you divide it. And that's your final answer right here. Okay? So we're going to do a few more, but do you have a general idea? Did you understand all the steps that we did? Okay. So, for the quiz, I'm not going to quiz you this Friday because of testing, but I'm probably going to give you a quiz Tuesday. This is what you're going to need to know how to do. Okay, this right here is what your quiz is going to be on. So you need to know how to do it, and here's me explaining to you how to do it. So, here it is. All right. Number 7. First thing you're going to do here is you're going to see, is there a number that all of these numbers are divisible by? So we know that 28 and 7 are both divisible by 7, but I don't know if 53 is divisible by 7. So I go ahead and check it in my calculator, and unfortunately it is not. So since it's not divisible by 7, I have to use the AC method that we talked about earlier. That's where you multiply these two numbers together. And this is where you're going to need a calculator sometimes, because some of these numbers are going to get pretty big. Okay. So, now we're looking for, bless you, factors of 96, negative are 196, that add up to 53. So sometimes this is going to take you a little bit of work in the calculator trying different numbers. So I write 196 to the side, and I'm going to look for all the numbers that possibly could multiply to 196 that are going to add up to 53. So I start by dividing by 4. So I got 4 times 49. I've got 2 times 98. Do either of these pairs of numbers add up to 53? What's 4 plus 49? What's 4 plus 49? 53. You have to come up with two numbers that, are you guys paying attention to why it's addition this time? you have to find two numbers that multiply to give you 196 that add up to 53. Okay, that's what you need. So that's why we're looking if they multiply to that. So it's going to be 4 and 49. Anyone remember what our next step is? We have to reverse multiplication. So to reverse multiplication we do division. We divide by whatever we multiplied by. Does 7 go into 4? No, so we bring it out front. Does 7 go into 49? How many times? So we divide it. And that's our final answer. You guys got that? Okay. Cool. Alright, we're going to do one more together before you try it on your own. This one here. This one's a little bit more tricky for one reason. It has an extra step. First you have to check and see if you can take a number out initially, a GCF. What are all of these numbers divisible by here? They're all divisible by 3. So you're going to start by taking out a 3 initially. So I just took out a 3 out of every term. And if I wanted to, I could multiply that 3 back in and get what I started with. We don't want that though. Now we're going to use that AC method I talked about inside the parentheses. 3 times 7 is? Good. So we get k, I'm sorry, this is squared. K squared plus 22k plus 21. Now we're looking for two numbers that multiply to 21 but will add up to 22. So what are some factors of 21? 7 and 3. Somebody else said something else I heard. 2 and 11. Nope, not 2 and 11 because that would be 22. 21 times 1. Good. That's good. So 3 plus 7 is 10. That's not what we want. What's 21 plus 1?
22.
That's what we want, isn't it?
Yep.
So we're going to take 22, or 21, put it here, 21 and 1. And then what's the last step here, or second to last step? Divide by what we multiplied by, which is? 3. We multiplied by that 3. Does 21 get divided by 3? Yeah. 7. And then this one doesn't divide, so what do I do with it? Bring it in the front. And that's my final answer. Any questions? Now you're going to work through this for the rest of the period. We'll see how much you get done. I have a answer key up here. If you finish everything and you want to check your work, that's fine. You can check your work. What'd you guys think?